Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Adele, and today got some very interesting things that I do want to go over today. Just want to make sure that you guys, if you're new to this channel, to go ahead, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I know I haven't been on for a long time. This quarantine thing, I just been kind of getting back into the flow of everything. So today this video is on the Clark Sisters movie. It's a review. Now, I first of all, I'm a huge fan. But I did not like right away watch the movie because I kind of wanted to wait for the anticipation, and also some of the streamings that I have, I didn't get it. So I finally got to see it last night, finally, and it was a really good production. The people who played the parts were really good. I'll give you a list of their names in a minute. Sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. Got a million things going on. But so I just have some key points that I noted down in my other phone, on my phone. A couple of questions, a couple of points that I noticed in the movie, and so I kind of want to talk about those a little bit. So right now, I'm pulling up the cast, of the Clark Sisters. Karen Clark Sheard, her mother. We have, I'm sorry if I pronounce his name wrong, Anjanou Ellis, who played Dr. Maddie Moss Clark. We have Raven Goodwin, who played Denise Clark. Shalea, who played Dorinda Clark Cole. We have Angela Burchett, who played Jackie Clark Chisholm. And then Christina Bell played Twinkie Clark. So, shout out to them because they did a fantastic, when I tell you they did a fantastic job, like they did a fantastic job, and I thought it was really good. A couple of things I was a little bit disappointed. I'm going to give you guys all my cons before I give you my pros. But I was kind of disappointed only because I kind of expected just a little bit more as far as the storyline. Like, I didn't expect for each event to happen quickly after each other. Like, you will see them performing for a song, and then the next scene, they're performing again, and it's just like, I don't know, the events kind of, I felt like were rushed. I feel like we understood the history, where they came from, but we didn't really get like deep into depth about them. Like, I felt like it was a rushed, and I'm sure like they probably had to rush it, but I just felt like it wasn't one of those movies that like you take your time with. Like, it was rushed, and it was kind of weird to me. Another thing that I was kind of a little disappointed by was with the character of Denise. I expected for them to expand like a lot more into like her mentality of things, and why she truly, like, what were the true real reasons why she did not want to be in the group anymore. And I'm not trying to start any controversy or anything. Like, I really just felt like they could have went deeper with her parts. Like, I anticipated the movie. I was waiting for the movie, but I was really waiting for her part, her character, like, to really see like what her mentality, and like, just how much it messed up. And I really felt like they could have dived more deep. I wanted them to, with her character specific, because we don't hear about her, we don't see her, people are not up to stories with her, if, you know, the Clark sisters make brand new music, she's not on it, of course. So it's like she's missing MIA. But I, like, you know, in the movie, I feel like they could have gone in depth with that. So another thing is from one of the scenes, when they were all signing the contract. I seen that scene. Um, and something Dorinda said was, you know, you make it hard for us to love you. I feel like that was, I'm gonna try to find the specific, like, quote. But she said something and then said, like, but you make it hard for us to love you, you know? And that was kind of harsh because it's like, at the end of the day, regardless of what happens, regardless of the things that happens, regardless of what was said, what is being said, you're sisters. And, like, I feel like Dr. Maddie Moss was more of, like, you know, she took the good and the bad with each and every one of them. But at the same time, there still needs to be that sense of unity. And for her to just be like, oh, but you make it really hard to love you. Like, that's really kind of harsh to me. For me to even say that to a sibling, to a parent. Like, she was difficult. Like, I do agree with Dorinda. She was difficult. But at the same time, like, there should have been a respect of, like, she's going to do, like, what, you know, she's going to do. Like, she has her own separate life. So I feel like in words, and, you know, with, you know, the character Denise commenting back, like, you know, I still love you. You're my sisters. Like, y'all not perfect, but, you know, you guys don't make it hard to love y'all. And it just kind of, like, opened up a retrospect on, like, where was mentality at? Like, how far, like, you know, why did she feel that at that certain moment to say that? Like, I really want them to dig, like, deep into what, you know, how she was. And I also noticed that, you know, Denise didn't really talk to nobody but Twinkie. So it was, like, kind of, you know, it was a lot of variables that kind of, I would understand why they didn't want to do too much. But it almost felt like ironic that they didn't really know nothing about Denise. As far as, like, casting, like, they just kind of knew all the bad moments. But, like, what about some of the good moments, you know, that they had? Like, what about, like, some of the good things that she did? I feel like they really took that away and kind of made her a villain, you know, in the movie, even though everybody played their part. You know, I just kind of feel like they really, like, ostracized her, if I'm using the right word, but kind of singled her out, and it just kind of, it didn't really flow for me. So that was one of the scenes that I thought was a little cuckoo, a little off. Another scene I have in my notes was the scene about them getting into the car after their mother's funeral. Now, child, let's talk about this, okay? Let's talk because I thought that was a very, like, interesting thing. Only because I've heard and I've seen theories about how, like, you know, I've even listened to, you know, Denise Clark when she was on the radio talking about how, you know, her sisters were mean to her. You know, how she really felt, like, singled from everybody. And to see that specific scene was, like, you had so many emotions. You know, but again, it goes back to, at the end of the day, they're sisters. At the end of the day, that's their mother. They all have the same mom. I do understand the conflict and the emotions and the struggles, because I'm like, one part of me is like, if my sibling would have said something crazy like that at my mom's funeral, God rest her soul, I hope she doesn't die. But, like, at my mom's funeral, then we on and locking. Like, that's why I understood why Karen reacted the way that she did. But then at the same time, it was like, almost like she was bringing the truth to the light. Denise, you know, when she was talking about, you know, how, excuse me, they didn't want to see her sons, and, you know, just how she is. And she was telling the truth about how her mom is. Her mom wouldn't have want them to be sad. And I didn't really see anything wrong, except for it honestly was pretty awkward to like have like most of the, you know, the light on you. Like I felt like that was an attention thing for her, which is probably why Karen felt the way that she did. Again, I'm not trying to make no theories, no, I'm not trying to blow it out the water. I'm just giving you guys my point of view, my opinion on the movie, and just kind of explaining that. I just felt like some of those scenes were kind of a little hard to understand, but like you can tell the emotions, and just the whole like, oh, there's a car behind you, you can get in. It was kind of like, at the end of the day, siblings are gonna be siblings. Y'all gonna make the same stupid mistakes. You know, excuse me, you guys have to forgive each other. I wouldn't have seen no problem with her riding in the same car as them. Didn't mean that they didn't have to talk to each other, but I mean, didn't mean they had to talk to each other, but like I can understand like where Karen you know, got defensive, and just because like, you know, Dr. Maddie Moss, you know, she loved all of them, but it was like she really nurtured and really tried to like push Karen Clark Sheard into like where she's supposed to be. Like she knew like Karen has something in her, and she does. I love her. Like I'm out of all the Clark sisters, I love Karen Clark Sheard. I'm literally can imitate her, which I'm gonna do in another video, but I listen to all of her songs. I love Karen Clark Sheard. And like the thing was, Dr. Maddie Moss really instilled and really knew that, you know, she is going to, you know, be good. And so I just felt like, you know, that was kind of like in the defense when Denise did that to Karen, because she, of course, took it personally. So that was just another scene that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Some of the good scenes. Let's talk about some of the good scenes. Some of the good scenes, I would say... Oh, yeah, I'm running over my cord. A scene that I really did like was the bonding scene in when they went to go to the music store or the store, and they saw that their song was on the you know, top hits of gospel music. I really liked it because there was stuff going on before that scene happened. I was quite like, dang. But I felt like that bonding, that moment was really nurturing, because, you know, it makes me think of my family and how my parents hold this standard of keeping us close, and that no matter what happens, we all nurture each other, and we all try to keep each other close, and we all try to comfort each other. And just seeing that bond, and that's not the only scene. They've had multiple scenes where they're bonding and everything, and I thought that was good. Just to go back, because I just remembered, another scene that was kind of crazy was when Denise came out and told their mom that she's pregnant. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I know with my parents, and even with my own mother, I have felt that, you know, I'm that black sheep of like the girl, the child, that like, you know, for some reason, there's just something about me that she does not like. And I felt like that was portrayed really throughout the movie, especially with Denise. Like, yeah, she was doing things, you know, and that of course was not right. But just to see like every little inch, every little step, every little turn was it almost felt like, you know, Dr. Maddie Moss had some resentment towards her, and like that was just the black sheep. Like nobody liked her. And again, I'm not saying, you know, this was their actions, you know, the Clark sisters, Dr. Maddie Moss, but I'm saying this is what I felt like was portrayed throughout the entire movie. Like she's just the problematic child, and you know, they expect her to do bad things. So I thought that was bad. Another thing that I did like was how her and Twinkie, you know, cared for each other and actually took care of each other and talked with each other. And I think that's important, because I wouldn't say that honestly, I wouldn't say that I have like a close sibling like that, because I don't. I mean, all my siblings, they're equal to me. But I would say my closest is my brother Thomas. The closest, but they're all still close to me. But he is the closest to me. And it's important for siblings to have that kind of siblings if they have that many. I'm like 2 out of like 13, 14, 15 kids. But it's important because it's like, even if, nobody else likes me, I still have this comfort. Somebody that I know, somebody that I see every day. And I felt like that was really more of like a push for her. So I just felt like that was a really good bonding. That was a really good bonding. And I really loved it because, being a child with growing up with 4 or 5 sisters, and y'all can see in one house that's not good, but just for her to have that balance, she has like that, her side, and the spiritual. Twinkie was walking right, talking right, and it was like a balance. Even though we are made to be unequally yoked, we have to be in one yoke, spiritual, but just to have that guidance. And I honestly do feel like that in a way Twinkie did help guide Denise. So that's what I want to say about that. Moving on to the next topic. Another thing, I know I'm talking about Denise a lot, but it's just because they did not dive enough into her character for me. Like the person who played her, Raven, did really, really good to portray. But I'm just saying, as like a character, I just want to hear like her story. And I really do. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like they should, they should make a story, like a separate movie for Denise. Only because like we haven't really heard these experiences. Like stories get told from here to there, to the window, to the ground, to the floor, and people don't really know what's the truth. I'm not saying that movie is a lie, but it's just within so many things being rushed to me throughout the movie, it just felt like, the whole truth wasn't really in there. And of course, that could have been like 5, 10 hour, 100-hour movie, but I just feel like as far as like characters, they should have really dug deep. So going back to the good scenes, another scene I loved was Shalea, who played Dorinda. The scene when she was on the bridge or whatever, got out of her car and like looked like she was about to jump over the bridge. I don't want to assume anything. I don't want to like suicide. I don't want to assume anything. I don't want to have it flowing out there, but that's what it looked like to me. And God saved her. And I value this moment because it's moments like those that God doesn't have to do something so big and so miraculous. Like, He doesn't have to buy you a car. He doesn't have to buy you a house. Sparing your life, I feel, is the biggest thing that God could have ever give us. The biggest gift. And sometimes, I really do love when God shows Himself to you when you are losing that faith and you don't believe that He's there. And He comes in times like that. Like, she randomly pulled her car over and could have or could have not been attempting suicide to jump over, or asking God, show yourself to me, let me know that it's real. And it's not like she bought a brand new car, or a car randomly. Like, it's not anything that's like that. But when God shows you Him personally in the littlest forms, like literally, she said a scripture, nor life or death can keep me, the love that I have, keep me away from your love. And just something simple like that, and for us to get in our conscience. And thank you, God, because the times that things she went through with her mother, and even after, and still keeping that faith and still being strong. So I thought that was just a beautiful scene for me personally, because I've come across things that have happened like that, where God has revealed Himself to me, and it doesn't have to be anything miraculously. Like waking up every morning, breath in my body, being able to walk, talk, is so precious, and it's so amazing that He can come in the various forms. So I do believe that was the most beautiful one. Now, another thing that a lot of people have been talking about that I also noted was Kojic. Now, y'all, where my water at? It's over there. My water is back there. Hold on real quick, y'all. Alright. Ooh, got some water. Hallelujah. Now, this is a very dense topic that I'm not going to go through an entire thing just to get everybody to understand. If you grew up in Kojic, you know Kojic. You know how they are. You hear things about people, you know, growing up in the church and then leaving the church because of Kojic. So I don't want to fall too deep into it because I don't want controversy again. I'm just giving my thoughts and opinions. So just to point out something, I saw a video. This video had Denise, one of Denise's sons, Denise Clark, one of her sons, and his wife, I believe, who actually talked about how the scene where Dr. Maddie Moss Clark went and was like in front of the Kojic, you know, the person who was, you know, the person who was over everything and was sat down in front of them, and they basically sat her down from doing what, you know, from performing with the girls. It's been said that like she stood up. I mean, in the scene you see she stood up to them. She left and then turned around and walked back and, you know, was talking to them, you know, basically to say this is what God gave her and she's not stopping. And then it was argued that that scene never happened. That she excuse me, sorry y'all, I'm losing my train of thought. So that they said that scene never happened, that she would never ever talk back to like the bishop and all that, like never ever will talk back to them. She would always just quiet her mouth and listen. So it's a lot of controversy. Again, I don't want to get into it, but I'm just stating my opinions that yes, Kojic has a particular style of things because we were taught that, you know, we're put on this earth not to be like the world. So there are standards. I'm not getting into them because this video would be like 1700 hours long. But that was another thing that I'm kind of like, oh, did this happen? And then that's the good thing that I did watch some videos, I'm not gonna lie, before I watched the movie, but it wasn't like a video where it like kind of like spoils the entire movie. It was just like bits and pieces, so it kept me on edge, like, ooh, did this really happen? Like, should I think in my head, like, did she really talk back or did she not talk back? Like, how did it work? And so especially the clap, because for the artist who, I mean the actress who played her, Dr. Maddie Moss, did such a wonderful job. I love her in every movie that she does. She just does fantastic. And, you know, she really resembles, like, when they put up the picture right next to her, she really looks like her. And so it was beautiful. And I'm not saying these things to, like, knock down the movie and, you know, say that it was a horrible movie, because it wasn't. It was just some things that I didn't like, and I wish there was more character development, especially on Denise Clark's part. So that's something that I do love. Moving away from the issues and the controversy and the troubles and the goods and the bads, I want to dive into the singing. Now, just a shout out to Shalea, because when baby girl, when I watched you sing that very first song with Dorinda, who was the leader of that song, I got so much chills flowing up and down my body that it was not even a joke. I was just chilly. Like, girl, like, it's giving me chills now. Like, I got chills now. But I just want to shout out, you did such a fantastic job. All of them did. They all really sounded like them. Like, when they all opened up their mouth, they sounded like him. And I love Kiki because, excuse me, Kiara Shear, because she resembles her mom, like, a lot. And so by her resembling, you know, her mother, I just felt that it was like really, really good. The story plot was really, really good. But yeah, like I think overall they did good on like the singing and explaining everything. And I thought that was a fantastic job. My favorite part, I would say, was the part when the mama threw the shoe. Bro, when her mom threw the shoe, I'm telling y'all, that is just like Valerie, my mother. That is just like my mom, because she be throwing her shoe at us all the time. Or she at least pretend to. But she ain't never caught me with no gum, because I be having gum in my mouth 24/7. Sometimes she catches me though, but not all the time. And I felt like that was an epic scene, because any director that you meet that's like a choir director that's like true and serious about like what they be doing will throw something at you. Like, you just gonna have to wear a face shield by then, because they just gonna throw stuff at you. And that's what I feel like they'll do. Is they'll any director that's real, that's true like that, will throw something. Believe it, they gonna throw it. So if you guys have any comments, concerns, drop them below. If you start controversy with this video, this is not my fault. Again, I'm just giving my opinions on the movie, and like a couple of things that I did like and that I didn't like. Also another thing, another emotional part that I want to say. Excuse my boyfriend, but excuse me. Another emotional part is the part when Dorinda did not want to leave the hospital with her mom. And I'm so glad that they really like didn't really like move on quick. They really put a lot of nurturing into that scene. And like she had just had that feeling like, no, I just want to stay here. And my dad, he passed away from stage 4 lung cancer. So, I've had those moments where like I've had dreams weeks before, that he's passing. I've had days before I woke up nauseous, couldn't eat. Something just didn't feel right in me. I told myself, like, I think my dad's gonna die today. And it actually really happened that same day. And, she was just getting that discerning spirit. But I really enjoyed, that nurturing moment, because the same thing happened with me. I felt like, same thing with my dad, and it was just like, I felt like something was gonna happen, and it did. And like she had that spirit, and it's devastating. Like, it's really, really hard to have like known and to have been like, oh no, I'm not leaving, I'm staying, and then you end up leaving, and then something happens, and it's just like, damn, like what if I stayed? Like, I could have said something, I could have been by her side. She wouldn't have had to, pass away by herself. Like, there's a lot of emotions that roll into that. But again, I don't want to draw this out. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching this video. Comment, like, and subscribe. If you're new to this channel, subscribe. I'm just going to try to come up on here. If you guys have comments, comment. But, like, and I said what I said. I say what I say, and I mean what I mean. But I do honestly think they should make a movie specifically separating from Denise Clark after, the whole, after the funeral. I feel like is where they should actually, no, a little bit before that, like before they start performing. I feel like they should base the beginning of the movie based off of that. Into her starting to go out and party. And I feel like she needs her own. We need to catch up. We need to know who she is. I need to know who she is. Like, I need to see her face, what she looks like now. Like, I need to know. Because you can't just be a Clark sister and nobody know you. That's how I feel. Sorry, y'all. Turn my computer on. I just feel like, if you're a Clark sister, I want to know all of them. I really do. And I feel like they each individually need their own. Oh, another thing real quick. The Karen scene when she almost lost her life. That was another emotional scene for me. That's something very hard to come back from. And like she explained, only God can take you out of a situation like that. Like, your faith starts to decline because you're no longer believing in people. You're no longer believing in man in the Bible. You're no longer believing in, it says that in the Bible, you're no longer believing in men. You know, at that point, you know, when you have a death scare, to me, I feel like there's like no more like depending on people. It's like, you know what, God, this is in your hands. If I'm here, I'm here. If I'm not, I'm not. And so you know, I'm continue to pray, and I'm just glad. I'm so glad, because of devastation. I almost lost my mother, because she actually had a heart attack. I believe it was. Ended up going to the hospital. She wasn't in a coma, but she was in the hospital. She had like 3 blood clots, and the doctor had to get them out. So every single day she would come. Well, she wasn't come home every day. She was in the hospital for a long time. This actually happened in Vegas when she went on a trip, and she just ended up losing a lot of blood, and you know, just wasn't good. And so you know, and for her to be back, to be strong and healthy, even though our relationship is not good, like, that's something I am grateful for, is that, you know, God did not take her. But you know, not everybody is fortunate as me. But I am so glad that Karen made it. First Lady Karen Clark Sheard made it out of you know, that despair. And you know, and I can go on and on about them, y'all, but I love you guys. Comment again, let me know what you guys think, and we out.